I'm Coralie from livelyco. I want to explain and clarify some changes that are coming to Facebook and to reassure businesses that you don't need to panic about Mark Zuckerberg's latest announcement. On January 11th, Mark Zuckerberg made a big announcement that sent shockwaves to businesses. He said that they're going to roll out changes so users see more content from people and less content from media and businesses. I've linked to his full post if you want to read it on our YouTube channel, as well as the blog section of our website. As soon as this announcement came out, I saw so many headlines like businesses are doomed, big changes coming to Facebook, Facebook announces stock sinking splash, and it was everywhere. Actually, as an aside, I loved the headline that said, "What if your friends and family are boring?" In all seriousness, I've been doing some research and I want to break down what's really happening so you have a better understanding of it. So first, let's start with why this was announced. In 2016, Facebook released a new algorithm that significantly changed our experiences on Facebook. As a quick note, for those of you who may not be familiar with what an algorithm is, it's a proprietary set of rules that are programmed into Facebook or other social media channels that control what you see, when you see it, and how frequently you see it. So everything is calculated, and no one really understands how the algorithm works, of course, except for the people who created it. But social media experts such as myself can study it and make educated guesses. So when this algorithm change happened in 2016, unpaid posts, or what you'll hear me refer to as organic posts, they were drastically reduced. So Facebook favored businesses that had paid ad campaigns or boosted posts and filled everyone's feeds with those instead of organic content. Because of how this turned out, Facebook wanted to revert back to the reason that it was originally founded, and they wanted to make it so people had more what they call meaningful interactions again. So now I want to touch on how I see this. On the one hand, Facebook has its shareholders that it needs to appease, and it relies on the money coming in from business ad spend in order to thrive. And on the other hand, it relies on users like you and I to see this content and to post on this content in order to please the businesses and to keep them coming back and spending ad money. If users are finding that their news feeds are getting muddied with promotional posts, they're going to spend less time on Facebook. The less time that they spend on Facebook, the less clicks that businesses are getting on their ads, and the less likely that businesses are going to want to spend advertising dollars. An important thing to note is that Facebook survives off the ad spend from businesses, so they're not going to want to shut them out. It's simply a matter of making this adjustment so that they can even out that balancing act again. So now, what do you need to do? This isn't the first major change that a social media network has announced. Social media is dynamic, it's constantly changing. This is just a matter of businesses being able to pivot when these changes are announced to make sure that they're making the most effective use of the social media networks that they're on. So with these changes, there are 3 things that you can do to boost your chances of being seen. The first is to have high quality posts that encourage engagement. Part of Mark Zuckerberg's announcement said, "As we roll this out, you will see less public content like posts from businesses, brands, and media. And the public content you see more will be held to the same standard. It should encourage meaningful interactions between people. For example, there are many tight-knit communities around TV shows and sports teams. We've seen people interact way more around live videos than regular ones. Some news helps start conversations on important issues, but too often today watching video, reading news, or getting a page update is just passive experience." With this said, I believe having engaging posts is and will be more important than ever. Businesses need to post high quality content that encourage conversations and show their value and ultimately give traction to posts. The more authentic the interactions on your posts are, the better a post will do. Instead of relying on Facebook to boost posts, it will now be up to people more and more to determine whether a post merits having more eyes on it and to be seen by more people. So the second thing that you can do is to consider working with influencers. With this shift to more people-focused posts, influencers have more power than ever. Having one or a few people post about your brand, your services, or your product can be an ideal workaround if you find that your business page posts are getting less traction. Having said this, if you're paying influencers to post about your brand, your product, or your services, it needs to be as authentic as possible. Also, the FTC is closing in hard on influencers who aren't properly displaying that their posts are promotional and paid advertising. The topic of influencers is so large that I'm going to save that for another time. But if you do have any questions about using an influencer in the meantime, feel free to reach out to us anytime. So the third and final thing that you can do is to have a holistic approach to social media. Regardless of announcements, social media is constantly changing anyways, and by having a mix of types of posts on a wide variety of platforms, you can really increase your chances of being seen. So I recommend not limiting yourself to one type of post, but try organic posts, paid posts, static posts, photos, video, live video, influencers. You really want to make sure that you're adding quite a few things to the mix to increase your chances of being seen. So you want to make sure that you dedicate a good amount of time to social media. That's both creating your posts and researching the trends and changes. Of course, if you don't have the time to do this, I highly recommend that you rely on experts like us to take care of all of that for you. It's likely going to take several months for us to be able to see the effect of these changes on Facebook, and it's something I'm going to be watching closely. It's going to be something that I'll post updates as they come, but if you have any questions in the meantime about anything I've talked about today, or you want us to have a look at your Facebook page, feel free to reach out to us anytime.